Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chasing Collectibles Catchup. I'm Tyler,
I'm Tim.
I'm Loren.
and
I'm
with us today
Lizzie.
we have our my friend Lizzie Shepard. Her and I went to collage together. We went to Winthrop, not the same degree because she is much more artistically inclined than I am. But we had one class together. We had a like film 101, something like that. We took and
Hmm.
got to know one another and both enjoy creating stories and writing and all that. And we got to know each other and became friends. And she is an artist and wanted to have her on the show. So welcome, Lizzie.
Thank you very much for having me, everyone.
Yes,
Thanks for being on.
Yes, Thank thank you. you so much. This ought to be
streaming
fun.
streaming to
Yeah.
our millions of fans.
Oh no.
Uh, well,
No pressure.
I'm gonna try to
well,
do the rocks people's eyebrow
yeah,
and
like
millions.
billions actually. Um, so I wanted to start off with just asking you, how did you first get into drawing? And like being a, I know we all, some of us doodle and all that, but you are, a
Hmm.
fairly, we'll show some of you are a little bit later, but I think you're an objectively good artist. So how did you
Thank
get into drawing?
Well, my grandpa was an artist. Unfortunately, he passed away, but he was a drill instructor for the Marines, and he would do artwork for the museum on Paris Island here in South Carolina.
Hmm.
And I guess the genes kind of went to me. And it wasn't really until I saw how Miyazaki Spirited Away for the first time when I was in the first grade, because I mean, there was like Disney movies that I grew up with, but there was just something so different about Spirited Away that just blew my mind. And immediately I was like, I want to draw like characters and all that stuff. I would draw them over and over again. And then it kind of moved to Star Wars because Revenge of the Sith was coming out and it was
Mhm.
everywhere, even though I had no idea what was going on. So I would just draw the characters over and over, and it just kind of kept going and going, and here I am.
It
That's awesome.
takes a lot of practice, I guess like doing over and over again is part of, I guess, what makes you a better artist,
Hmm.
right? Just continuously practicing.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I still have old sketchbooks from like the third grade, and they're all terrible.
Mhm.
I kept doing it. That's kind of the point of getting better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know we've talked about that with writing, well, my
Hmm.
writing and your drawing, that if you don't look at, like, for me, like past drafts of writing, and like if you don't like feel the need to like throw up, then you're not progressing as a person. So like that's like a good
Yeah.
sign that you're like, oh man, I'm much better than I was, 10 years ago or whatever.
Hmm.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Did you ever start drawing any Star Wars stuff?
Um, you mean like when I was little?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, I remember watching Phantom Menace when I was little, like really little, but I wasn't really paying attention. But in the second grade, when Revenge of the Sith was coming out, it was like everywhere. And it was actually the Clone Wars cartoon, not the CGI one, but the Cartoon Network one that looks more like Samurai Jack.
Hmm.
That was the one that kind of got me into Star Wars. And I actually have the Clone Wars CD on DVDs because I love the animation.
Yeah.
And I got obsessed with it. And I wasn't allowed to see Revenge of the Sith because it was like PG-13. I was 8. But I just kind of learned to love Star Wars myself, like online and like with the Lego games and the movies, of course.
Yeah, it's some great stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, I think my favorite person was drawing General Grievous.
Yep.
I loved the way he looked.
I thought you were gonna
Yeah.
say Jar Jar.
Thank goodness. Me so glad.
Everybody shuts off the interview. Click.
Yeah. Click.
I'm sorry. No, my favorite thing was watching behind the scenes of all the Star Wars movies because I loved seeing the concept art. of course.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the artists that designed General Grievous, he just got inspired by like a water spray bottle for his face. And I was like, what? Like, I don't know. Things like that I just thought was
Yeah.
super cool. And I'm like, I kind of want to do something like that.
Yeah. So in school, you majored in visual communications with a BFA with a
Mhm.
concentration in illustrations. Do you feel
Yes.
like aspiring artists should study art? And was it helpful for you to go into that?
I think every artist should pursue their dreams. Um, Obviously the program I was in did help a lot. It was really tough because it was like designed to kind of weed out, you know, uh, not amateurs, but just some students just weren't as, I guess, not prepared enough for how tough the classes were going to be, especially the first few classes that you had to pass in order to get to the other classes. And eventually I learned a lot that I learned some things about myself that I didn't know I could do. Like I really like color theory, even though I'm not good at it, but I love lighting. And my favorite thing is probably doing, I like drawing people. So we had to take a oil painting class of mostly just portraits of models. And I really liked doing that. And I guess my other advice for art students is to kind of be prepared, because we're kind of living in a world where like no one really cares about art anymore, or at least like
We do.
in the mainstream sense. Yeah. But in terms of like, for jobs, it is pretty tough. It's been 3 years for me, and ever since I graduated, and it's been kind of a bumpy road. I mean, for everyone, obviously, because of COVID. But slowly but surely, I'm getting there.
All right. That's good to hear.
Fantastic.
Thank
Great
you.
advice for sure. Follow the dreams. That's the biggest thing. I mean, with everybody that's got any kind of artistic desires, whether it be illustration, painting, music, whatever have you, just keep pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a struggle.
Yeah, we had a guy a couple months ago that came on, Aaron Lopresti. He's an artist that's done tons of stuff with Marvel and DC, and now he's doing his own indie stuff. And he main thing he talked about is like this determination. Like he back then, like he like went to like Marvel itself, like the headquarters in New York, and was like, "Here's my
Wow.
stuff." And I know that's harder to do today, but that
Yeah.
was the main thing he kept on going back to, is this determination.
I mean, I kind of have done that with Sanford Green. He's
Yeah.
I met him a couple times because he was friends with my high school art teacher, and he came by and showed us all of his work, which is really cool. And then at Winthrop, my professor was really good friends with him, so I got to meet him again. And at Heroes Con, I met him again too, so it's pretty cool. I guess you could say I know him, but not really.
Yeah, he's a really super nice guy. Every time that I've stopped by his booth at the cons, he always remembers who I am, and is very engaging too. He's an awesome dude.
Yeah, he's great.
I've really enjoyed like his Luke Cage run that he did on with Marvel. So, and that's pretty much the first time I had heard of him, and then I looked a few things up and had also seen him at Heroes, and yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
So all right, question. I know we've already had talked about Star Wars having a big impact on you, but I want to dive a little deeper. Thinking about so much media that's out there right now.
Yeah.
So many different avenues, with comic books and cartoons and shows, and you know even video games. Yeah,
Mhm.
video games is a big thing. What would you say? Do you have any other big influences out there,
Mhm.
like people that you gravitate to that, you
Yeah,
know,
I have a couple people. Um, I tried to write down some of them because I have too many. Because I like get inspired by lots of things, and I know I can't name all of them, but
Mhm.
my main influences are Junji Ito. He's a famous Japanese manga artist, especially with horror. Stuff's insane,
Mhm.
and I really like his level of detail, and I'm very detail oriented, so I have like a bunch of his mangas, and I just think his stuff is genius.
Mhm.
I also really like Gustave Dore. He was a artist in the 1800s, and he did all the really great um, Paradise Lost. I think that's what it was, or Dante's Inferno illustrations,
Oh
and they're
yeah.
like also super detailed.
Mhm.
Wow.
I love that style of work. Um, what else? I also really like this one painter's artwork, and I'm probably going to butcher his name, so I'm sorry in advance, but he was a Polish painter
Oh.
named Zadislaw Buskinski, and he's known as the Nightmare Artist.
Hmm.
And it's like Alice in Wonderland in hell, if I had to explain it.
Yikes.
All of his, it's like they could all be covers of like metal albums or like insane. And I actually really like the supposed meaning behind his artwork because apparently it's a lot deeper than just like it being scary if you look into it.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to do something kind of just weird and scary like that.
Mm.
But I tend to gravitate towards like horror. I really see it as like a great way of like self-expression in terms of art. So
Mhm.
that's definitely one of my interests.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, you guys will get to see some examples of Lizzie's art, and this is a prelude before I'm about to show it. And for those of you who, when this releases as a podcast, sorry, this is visual. Um, but
Use your imagination.
yeah,
Yeah.
just pretend it's like, but just as a preview, I mean, you are like you have a really good range, I think, and but also your horror stuff. Like I love. Uh, I was never really super into horror, but like once I started like seeing your stuff, I like got to appreciate like the detail that went into it and like the way it kind of like can like convey
Thank you.
emotions and all that. So I'll
Hmm.
go ahead and actually
Yeah,
let
that's
me
yeah.
show some of your stuff, and then we can kind of talk about how you would describe your style. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll flip through a couple, and we can kind of stop and talk about some if you want. You sent me some pictures. Also, Lizzie has done some commissions for me for my aspiring book as well. So I kind of put a couple of my favorites in there too. Um, this one's kind of this is a one. This is about a werewolf, if I remember correctly, right? In a trucker meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the projects I have been working on, and it's more like a short story, but this was just kind of like a concept of what like the panels would look like in terms of like color because I really want to experiment with like color and mood. So these were just kind of like practice panels of the character.
Wow,
So
that's I like that style. Wow, that's cool too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Man, that looks like dang, just the behind this, you can't see what I'm pointing at, but behind the guy in the middle, the spotlight that's coming down behind him, and
Mhm.
then it looks like it's super cloudy or foggy back there. I mean, that's almost like a real 3D-ish image.
Oh, thank you.
That's so cool looking.
you're also helping the podcast listeners, Lauren. So good job.
And
You're
then
making
there's
it
some
more.
red on his chest, and there's like these two guys with guns on either side, and the dirt is red too, so it looks like maybe somebody else got killed there. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, this is one that you did for me. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Oh,
the
that's
Reaper.
sick too. I like that.
Yes.
These
Yeah, I've
guys
never
know
seen it.
I'm all into
I think
skulls and
This
that
is
kind of thing.
two very different. This is your versatile. This
Yeah.
is Reaper.
Here's a little bit of a happier image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So this Reaper, I've never seen a Reaper like that before. It was very interesting. I like
Thank-
that. Like it's like, what is that? Like on like some type of a crown that glows over his
Yeah, I
head.
guess like some kind of halo or crown. Yeah, I love drawing like different interpretations of death.
yeah, I had a
Sad as that sounds, I think it's really interesting.
that was
Yeah.
part of a series I had for in my story. There's some lore behind it, like 7 deities, and I basically told Lizzie, here is what they do. Have fun, like just like your interpretation. And I don't have all of them in here, but she did awesome with them. Let's see.
Thank you.
I thought this one was really. This is a comic that was including I think a character that's like immortal, right? Meeting a
Yes.
bunch of knights during the Crusades, and they're all
Mhm.
like dumbfounded that they're meeting someone like very, very old. So I thought that was cool. And I even earlier I was zooming in on like this the detail, like this one guy over here, just like how like quizzical he looks, and just like contemplating life. I like that.
Yeah.
Very inquisitive. He's like, what? What the bloody hell is going on here?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Loren's also a voice actor.
Oh, that's awesome.
This is cool.
What a load of bollocks, eh?
Vampire stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got
Ah,
a lot of random projects thrown in
that
there.
is man, that leads to the imagination. That middle panel,
Yeah.
like I don't know who's who on there, but looks like old girl got the best of that dude. Tore his ass up. Dang.
Uh,
I
like
hope I
this-
can sleep tonight.
this is what the emotions I thought was really cool. This you can really tell here, like even like there's no captions, there's no nothing, but I like how you can still kind of see the story going on with this one. This is cool.
You can,
Yeah,
you
thank
can
you.
feel it, you know?
Thank you. Yeah, those fingers
We'll be
are
talking a lot about Batman later.
Oh,
yeah.
brutal.
Yeah,
I
this is
love
cool. And this is based off of, is this inspired in part by the newer Batman?
Yes.
That's
I kind
cool.
of I guess for like context
Very
for
good.
this one, personally I would love it if the next villain was Zaz. So
Mm.
that's what this drawing's based off of, like one of his victims.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. And with Matt Reeves' more
So that would
grounded
be so cool.
approach, it could be really neat and scary.
Hey, Tyler, are you able to zoom in at all?
Yeah, of course.
Can you zoom in on the deceased woman's face? I just want to see. Oh my gosh. Her eyes are open. That's she's dead. Wow, that's insane.
I just love the
That
idea
is
of this
so
being on the
good.
podcast.
Thank you. Yeah, right. Wow, look at that dead body. Whoa,
It could be anything.
great.
Wow. That is cool. We got to talk after we're done recording,
Oh yeah, yeah.
because I have my love of having artists draw certain scenarios for me, and since it is Batman weekend or whatever the thing is this weekend, we'll just keep it friendly right now. But after the show, I'll talk to you about something. It would be cool.
Sure. Thank you.
The banks are
I'd be
closed
honored.
Saturday. The banks are closed Saturday for Batman Day.
What? Nah. Well, banks are usually closed anyway.
This is kind of cool. This is
Load of bollocks.
Greek. No, Roman, Romulus and Remus.
Mhm.
Okay, out of these, what percentage is pen to paper versus computer?
Like of what I like more.
No. The actual, what did you do? Did you do these on
Oh,
computer or pen to paper?
this is all digital on
Okay,
my iPad.
gotcha.
Let's see. This one's cool. I like this one.
I didn't know there was that many colors available on an iPad. Epic.
Yeah, that's one of my big projects I'm working on, or have been working on for a while. It's just changed a lot over time. And this is like
I'm
one of the examples of like what I would like the covers to be if they ever became like a book or a comic or graphic novel.
wow.
We got a
Cool.
couple more. This
I'm
one's
just
cool.
kind of
This is
like
your.
taking it in. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm just kind of like taking it in. It's really, really awesome. Everything that Tyler's showing us here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is on time the versatileness. Like that's so different. You drew this and also the woman. Staring at the sky while she's dead. Um, you know.
Yeah, I'd love to do like book covers for like classic books as well. I like doing that
Yeah,
for fun.
that's cool. The Black
That's
Swan.
cool too.
Yeah, I'm quite proud of that one. I
Mm.
did that one like really fast. So I was kind of on a time crunch for the con coming up. So I was like, let me just do Black Swan real quick. That's what I did.
Mm.
This is cool. This is for one of your long running stories we've been talking about for a while. This is cool.
Yep, that's my boy.
But he's
I think we
getting
got
his
another
head
pic-
shaved. That's pretty cool. Wow. Like it.
That's
Yeah.
this is one she did for
Oh
me.
no.
One of my characters. Oh, is this old? Do you not? Is this?
Oh no.
I like it. I know it's like this is like 2 years old. I still like it.
You like it.
See, this is what we're talking about with the like. I think this is awesome, and you're like, ah. See, that's old too. If you maybe is that gonna make you
Oh, it's
cringe
all
too?
right.
Like
Wait
you're
a
like,
minute.
all
Wait a
right.
minute. Wait, this guy looks a little bit like Tyler.
No, he's got the black hair. He's. I couldn't hurt a fly. I've got. He's got me. That's also older.
Oh, that's my early digital stuff. Oof.
See, I still love it. That's my
No
phone. That's
detail or
literally my
anything.
phone
I
screensaver.
need to redo
Uh,
these. I need to redo these for you.
and this is a kind of a art board, right? For kind of inspiring your other style.
Yeah, I guess I kind of have like two styles. Like my first one's obviously like the more gritty, raw stuff, but then my second style, I call it like my cute style.
Yeah.
I was inspired by that painting. It's called the Corn Poppy. I forgot what it's called, but or no, I forgot the painter's name, but I really like the way she looks with like her big eyes.
Mm.
And then I started like doing a deep dive of what other kind of niche art styles that kind of inspired me. And the other pictures are like from Rankin and Bass stop
Oh yeah.
animations, like from, like The Year Without a Santa Claus, like all that Christmas stuff.
Hmm.
They actually have like more movies that like not many people know about. And the one with the guy with the beard and the lady next to him, it's like a origin story of Santa Claus, but they're all like these weird pagan gods, and I really love their design. So that kind of always interested me as a kid.
Mhm.
And then we got the Yellow Submarine, the Beatles, and
Love it.
then a lot of the stuff on the right are actually like Soviet animated films and TV shows.
Mm.
I really like the art style. I think it's kind of underground because obviously during that time, I'm assuming like Russian animation didn't go to America, so that's probably why we
Probably
didn't
not.
know about it.
Yeah.
But they
That's
have like
cool.
really beautiful stuff, and I think people should know more about it because it's kind of overlooked.
Yeah. And then I think we got one more over here. This is your character, Micah.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
thank you.
Wow. I love that middle image with him looking up to the sky, kind of like, wow.
Yeah.
But his hair is going upwards. That's killer.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna ask you, how would you describe your style? But I think like doing our tour of your pictures, you
Yeah.
kind of discussed it throughout. But I just wanted to make sure we shared some of these, and
Thank you.
yeah, that was fun.
That was fun.
Hey, Liz, do you watch or have you watched Attack on Titan?
Yeah, like
Okay.
years ago in high
Yeah.
school. I don't know. I never really
Yeah.
finished it.
Your character looks a little bit like sort of like how they do their animation. It's really
Oh
really thick.
yeah. Yeah, I'm really into like high contrast. So like super dark shadows and uh white space. I like that kind of stuff.
All right. Well, it looks really good.
Thank you.
Um. So you set up a lot of conventions. What is that? What is that like?
I just finished my second one at the Soda City Comic Con, so I've only really had two tables,
Mhm.
but the second one was a lot more successful than the first one because it was a lot bigger and I made more money.
Yeah.
Always
um,
good.
yeah, always good. Um, it was a lot of fun. I always dreamed of having my stuff at a con, and it's just really fun to kind of interact with all kinds of people because not only did I have like really nice people come up to me, but I had some friends visit, um, and some potential clients. Like this guy came up to me, who is in charge of a lot of cons, and he saw my stuff and was like, "I need you for like this horror con I'm trying to set up next year because this is the kind of stuff I'm looking for." So I might go to that one. So
Awesome.
Mm,
that's very exciting.
Yeah,
yeah.
you'll do very well at that, I think. Yeah,
I think so too. That's why I'm
get some
kind of
prints
like,
made of some great stuff.
yeah.
Can, can you give us and it is so cool setting up at a con. We started doing our first ones in August, and it is different. We've done them before with another store with Nickel Spot Comics, but in like setting up as Chasing Collectibles, it's cool. But there is a lot of
Mhm.
background work that goes into it. So can you give us, I'm sure there's a lot, but can you give us like what is how as an artist do you prepare to go to a con?
I signed up for this past con all the way back in April. So I kind of already was like, okay, I need to write things down and just work on it this whole summer. And I think the toughest part was obviously finding somewhere to print because I don't have a fancy printer like most artists do. So I had to, luckily, a friend of mine, he works with graphic design folks and he helped me print a lot of my designs. So thank you, Carl, if you ever listen. but but yeah, well, I will say the downside of going to a con is money, because obviously you gotta like pay stuff to earn stuff,
Mhm.
basically, and
Yep.
it is you kind of have to keep a budget with that kind of thing, but it's all worth it in the end, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on? Comic books, graphic novels?
I
Uh,
am working on a graphic novel with a couple friends of mine. We signed up with an indie publishing company. I'm not technically supposed to say what it is yet, but we are going to
Mm.
start working on it this November, and I'm really excited.
awesome.
We'll have to
I
have you
know.
back on when that becomes a thing.
Sorry, what was that?
I said we'll have to have you back on when it's done.
Oh yeah, be awesome. Yeah, in
So,
fact, oh sorry.
oh no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, my friend and I told my one of my professors about it, and he's gonna have us on a seminar for one of his classes, his comic book classes. So that's gonna be cool too.
Sweet.
Hmm.
So I wore this shirt particularly because this weekend, and I'm hoping to have it on Saturday on the day, September 17th. September 17th is Constitution Day, but it is also Batman Day. Batman will be Lauren. uh, um, but September 17th is Batman Day. It's the third Saturday of each September. And he's my favorite superhero. I know he's one of your favorites. So I was wondering if you could tell us, what do you find appealing about the Batman?
I'm not sure I don't know, like I knew who Batman was as a kid, but I didn't know like how complex his story is, and like all of his villains and just the world he's surrounded in. And as I grew up, eventually I learned more about Batman, and I was like, wow, I really love like everything about this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more into like the dark, obviously, like I said earlier, like kind of dark horror-ish aspects, and Batman definitely has like horror undertones, especially with some of his villains. And it just feels more grounded, I guess. Like especially with his backstory and all the other characters' backstories. Um, he's obviously a flawed person, and I just think he's an interesting guy, and I'm glad that he's as famous as he is.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the last movie that came out. I thought that was really, really good. Not being a huge Batman fan, but I really liked that film. That was really, really cool.
So good. That was the first Batman movie that made me cry. That's when I knew, I'm like, this is my Batman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite villain of Batman's?
I really like, obviously I love all the women. Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, of course all of them. But I do love Mr. Freeze too. I want Mr. Freeze to be the next one.
He'd be great. I've heard I got to meet.
Oh, and I want blimps.
Yeah.
I
went to Raleigh Galaxy Con in July, and I got to meet Giancarlo Esposito, and a lot of people fan cast him as Mr. Freeze, which I think would be pretty cool.
That's awesome.
While we're on the topic, celebrating Batman Day, Loren, Tim, do you guys have any favorite Batman villains? Mine, of course, is the Riddler. I loved him in the new movie, and I also just love him in general. He's been one of my favorites. I've got his first Silver Age appearance. I just think he's a neat guy, and I like how, egotistical he is, and how that's his downfall all the time. But do you guys have any favorite Batman villains?
For me, I'm probably gonna go with the cliche of the Joker, only because he's the one that's been most exposed to me, mostly with say the 60s, with Cesar Romero playing the Joker, and then of course the 1989 film with Jack Nicholson, which was, I was geeked out with that movie when that came out. We all went to the theater. I had my little Batman doll with me and everything. I'm in my 20s at that point, or maybe even the 30s, but it was just a blast. I just loved that movie. And then of course, what's his name? Heath Ledger.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was just sick. And then
Joaquin
Phoenix as the Joker. Good night. It was dark, but so that's how I'm. Of course, I loved all the campy characters from the Batman series in the 60s. King Tut and Penguin and all those classic characters that they just they made up, it seems, on the way through that TV series, but they were great. The Joker's probably my favorite.
I completely agree with Loren. I do really love the Joker, but all joking aside, ever since the New 52 had come out and they did the Batman the Dark Knight, um that version of that comic book series, that version of Bane, and Clayface. Like I would probably go with those two guys right there. It's not the movie version of Bane. That didn't work for me,
Yeah.
but Batman the Dark Knight from the New 52, man, like what Bane, and even before that, during the 90s when Bane broke Batman's back,
Mhm.
he was the only villain to have done that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, and Clayface can just always hide as anybody he wants to be. You won't even know he could be standing right next to you, and then all of a sudden he's a big hulking, you know, goopy monster.
I think there's
So
Yeah, I did see someone made a post on Twitter of like if Matt Reeves did do Clayface, and they showed some artists' work of like really cool deformed face, like face designs. And I'm like,
mhm.
oh man, I didn't even think of that, of like what Clayface could look like,
yeah.
live action, other than just a big mass. It's like, oh, he can look like really messed up. Like that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I pulled out while on subject of Batman villains. The New 52, they did this cool villains month at one point, where they basically pressed pause on all the titles and had the villains take over the comics for a month. And some of my favorite covers come in these cool 3D lenticular covers they did. So there's one of the Joker. This is a cool Riddler one that I kind of somewhat based my cosplay off of. Uh, cool Penguin one. And Bane, of course, and
Yep, here he is.
then Two Face is another one that's pretty freaky too. Every
Yeah,
villain, the more
he
you think about it, like
um,
it's he's probably one of the best superheroes when it comes to just the rogues gallery, and to give credit to Loren, probably Marvel's best hero when it comes to villains is probably Spider-Man too. I think a lot of other characters like Superman, like okay, Luther, and there's a few others, but like I think Batman and Spider-Man of any superheroes out there have the best rogues gallery.
yeah, I think
Mhm.
they're definitely like Spider-Man's definitely the face of Marvel, and Batman's DC. Well, Superman, but I'd say
Well,
Batman.
yeah. Batman definitely makes them more money than any other character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially without getting into all the controversy. Well, we'll have to do a whole nother video one day about all the with DC
I'm
struggling with
so
their
tired.
movies to even have a
I'm
Superman.
so tired.
Yeah,
I just want the Batman too. I don't want any more comic book movies. I love them, but there's just so many now. I
yeah.
just don't care anymore.
There is a
And
lot,
it's sad because I want to,
No.
but there's
well,
just it's so many.
we could get in.
I
I
want
mean,
to
if you
talk
look at
about.
some of the, I don't know if we need to get into this, but like some of the stuff on Disney Plus, you're like, all right, it's almost getting
Yeah,
overwhelming. Which I guess
it
is it a
is.
good problem to
I
have?
wake
But
up and like 40 new projects. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to live that long. I don't think. I haven't
Perish the
watched.
thought. Like,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. Back in my day,
uh,
we had this show called Birds of Prey that didn't even last a full season.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
It looked awful.
Yes. Don't watch it.
It was very like early 2000s. I kind of liked that though. I was like, yeah, leather.
Yeah, so did I. And then I watched it. I was like, okay, they mentioned Batman, but
where is he?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Lauren, you survived the Batman talk.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm shaking.
I know you can see the sweat on Lauren's head.
Ugh, brutal.
X-Men's
This-
probably my
this-
favorite Marvel thing. I do like X-Men.
Yeah.
Yes.
I never
Yeah.
did like. I never really got into X-Men. Of course, I've respected the
Mhm.
characters and all that, but I don't think I know enough about them to even have a comment. Really, I mean,
That's a
I don't know a
frustrating
whole lot
thing
about
about
them.
all this stuff coming out is I saw on Twitter that they said, an X-Men movie is not happening anytime soon, But I'm like, they
Yeah.
got the rights. Like,
Yeah.
can we? But that's a whole
I
nother
think
story.
I think as
Yeah.
collectors, I think a lot of people are really anticipating Wolverine's appearance in the MCU, which would really probably pay off a lot of people's houses,
Yeah.
if they have the right books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how they would or who they'd pick for Logan. Hugh
Yeah, it's
Jackman,
tough because Hugh Jackman was such a definitive guy. It's like they've got this whole multiverse stuff. Are they just gonna pluck him out of that, or are they gonna recast? Are they? So
They
Mhm.
got
And
to
technically he is
recast.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
yeah.
They're gonna have to recast though. They'll find some young fella.
Although you do know
Yeah.
that down the road they will have a movie, some major crossover movie where Hugh Jackman will show up
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
he'll
that's what I'm
do
saying. Like
the Secret
they already
Wars
did.
thing or whatever they're leading up to. You know.
Yeah, they already did like the Spider-Man
Yeah.
No Way Home. Like, oh, they're gonna Hugh
Yeah.
Jackman's gonna show up and say
Yeah.
"Phew," and leave. Am I allowed to cuss?
I mean, I'm hoping though that there's a few things. Hugh Jackman did a good job, but I hate to say it, and people might get mad, but they could have done even better.
Oh, I get
Yeah, I mean Hugh Jackman. I don't know if people don't know this or not, but he's over 6 feet tall. You can't have a 6 foot Wolverine. Wolverine stands only at like 5'2".
he's a
in
short
actual-
king.
Although
Yeah,
although Logan is one of the, like, if you're talking like top tier, comic book movies, Logan, The Dark Knight, like that's all, it's in like the upper echelon that movie. But we could go all night on all this on all the
yeah,
movies and such.
Yeah, I got a lot of things to vent about. I usually just vent to Tyler about it. My other friends don't really care about it, but I'm just like I have a lot of feelings.
We'll have to do another show where it's called Vent with Lizzie.
Yay.
There'll be all sorts of rage and I can't wait to read the follow-up comments.
Yeah, you should just draw and we'll just record you drawing and you could just rant as you're drawing. Yeah.
So this has been really cool. I loved seeing your art, and just curious as to where people might be able to follow you and follow your art. Do you have anything online, websites, or anything like that? And just tell our viewers and our listeners where they can find you.
Yes, my Instagram and Twitter is at ERS. It's all lowercase, underscore and draws. For Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I do have a TikTok, but I'm kind of taking a break off that app because sometimes it drives me crazy. So I'm like, I guess you can follow me on there. And my website is www.elizabethryanshepard.com.
Nice.
Perfect.
And we'll tag all that stuff once we post this so everyone can find you.
Okay.
And this has been awesome. I'm glad we got to talk and go through some of your art, and
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate your friendship, appreciate you having coming on the show, and we're looking forward to seeing all you do. I think I speak for everybody on here that your art definitely deserves to be seen by people, and I think it is gonna be seen. Just remember, we've always talked about determination, and
Thank
you deserve it.
I hope so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank
having me. I've never
Hope not.
done anything like this
No.
before.
Well, I'll get used to it because it's gonna start popping up more and more in your future, I think.
Yeah.
Yay.
Alrighty then. Well,
Bye.
we'll talk to you soon, and you guys have a good night.
All right, thank you.
You too. Thanks, Lizzie.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yay, comics!